The natural world is larger than life in the state of Washington. The state is stacked with sleeping volcanoes, lush rainforests and islands full of attractions. And surrounding these verdant landscapes are cities big and small, brimming with cultural appeal. Washington state attracts millions of tourists each year. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 rated tourist attractions in Washington state. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome travel guides, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when we publish a new video. So now let's cut to the chase. At 10, Deception Pass State Park. The Deception Pass Bridge is an iconic landmark of the region and a civic achievement dating back to the Civilian Conservation Corps. The historic bridge spans Whidbey and Fidalgo Islands in Puget Sound, and on both sides of this scenic bridge, Deception Pass State Park easily ranks high as one of the best state parks in Washington and most visited. Activities like tide pooling, hiking and boating are some of the most popular things to do at the park. Several campsites spread across 3 campgrounds within the park, facilitating multiple days of adventure. Knowing the tides is the key to success for those interested in passing under the bridge with a boat. At 9, Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. Mount St. Helens erupted on May 18, 1980, reducing its peak by 1,300 feet and leveling much of the surrounding area. A cloud of ash rose 13 miles into the air, houses were overwhelmed by masses of water and mud, and almost 150 square miles of forest were destroyed. And most tragically, 57 people lost their lives. Mount St. Helens' landscape is still rebounding from the massive event. Today, visitors are encouraged to learn more about the geological processes underway at the Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. One of the most popular places to observe and learn about the mountain is the Johnston Ridge Observatory at the end of the Spirit Lake Highway, the SR 504. This unique visitor center offers further insight into the eruptive history of the mountain and is a launching point for many of Mount St. Helens' best hiking trails. A bucket list adventure at Mount St. Helens is hiking or climbing all the way up to the remaining crater. This challenging endeavor is usually done from the climber's bivouac trailhead on the south side of the mountain. Permits are required for any summit attempt on Mount St. Helens. And now at 8, Puget Sound. On the state's western border, separating the Olympic Peninsula and Seattle, Puget Sound is a watery region filled with inlets, islands and unique worlds to discover. Several cities and harbors surround all sides of Puget Sound, offering endless access and places to visit. Some things to do in Puget Sound include sea kayaking, whale watching, and visiting the vibrant communities that define the islands. An extensive ferry system accesses the different destinations in Puget Sound, allowing for easy day trips and island hopping. A top spot to visit is Whidbey Island, the largest island in the Sound. It's home to Naval Air Station Whidbey Island and the adjacent city of Oak Harbor, located on the island's north side. The island's north side is also home to Washington's most visited state park, Deception Pass State Park. South of Oak Harbor, the rest of the island has a quieter tone and more rugged landscapes to explore. Here, Eby's Landing National Historical Reserve encompasses several seaside state parks and historic farmlands. It also includes the charming community of Coopville, where fresh seafood restaurants serve meals by the water. To look into the native cultures that once inhabited the region, the nearby Tillicum village on Blake Island Marine State Park offers another popular day trip from the city. At 7, it's North Cascades National Park. The North Cascades are one of the most unspoiled tracts of country in the United States, and the national park encompassing these mountains caters to anglers, walkers and nature lovers. To the north, the park shares a border with British Columbia, Canada. A drive through the park on the North Cascades Scenic Byway is rewarded with fantastic views. Some of the many highlights of this drive include the Washington Pass overlook, the aquamarine waters of Ross Lake, and the western-inspired town of Winthrop in the Methro Valley. Lake Chelan National Recreation Area borders the southern edge of the national park and is home to one of the deepest lakes in the country. It also provides a stunning backdrop for the mountain town of Stehekin, only accessible by foot, boat or seaplane. Many hiking opportunities in the North Cascades are steep, though some of the best hikes in the area also incorporate family-friendly treks with stunning mountain views. Head to the North Cascades Institute within the park for other family-friendly adventures in the North Cascades. This non-profit institution offers educational opportunities and overnight visits. And now at 6, Leavenworth. After the town of Leavenworth experienced the bust following a boom in the logging industry, city leaders rallied and decided to change the town's image. Today, the town of Leavenworth proudly recognizes itself as a Bavarian village, no less, and it's common to see residents wearing lederhosen or blowing a morning serenade on an alphorn. Really? Alongside the encompassing Bavarian theme of this tourist town comes several annual festivals. Perhaps one of the most spirited is the annual Christmas Lighting Festival, where the nighttime streets transform into something of a surreal snow globe scene. Outdoor recreation is also a primary draw to Leavenworth. Craggy Cascade Mountains backdrop the town to the west, with iconic destinations like the Icicle Gorge and Alpine Lakes Wilderness nearby. These mountain playgrounds comprise several of Leavenworth's best hiking trails, including the world-famous Enchantments Through Hike. And now at 5, Seattle Downtown. It's a large, densely packed city, but downtown Seattle reveals its more relaxed side at the waterfront. Here, piers and parks rim the shoreline, and the chatter of visitors, traffic and fish throwers add to a vibrant summer soundtrack. Pike Place Market is the standard draw for tourists, but other historic buildings and venerable institutions add diversity to a visit. Visitors will likely wish to catch an underground tour near Pioneer Square or a performance at Benaroya Hall. And back on the waterfront, a sea-level exploration takes you from the Olympic Sculpture Park in the north to the Seattle Aquarium and Ferry Terminal farther south. The waterfront is also a popular spot to depart on some of the best day trips from Seattle. At 4, Mount Rainier National Park. Mount Rainier is an iconic Washington landmark seen miles from every direction, including certain vantage points in Seattle on clear days. It's the tallest peak in the state, 14,410 feet, and is at the center of its namesake national park. Two areas of particularly stunning interest include the Sunrise and Paradise regions of the park. The road to Paradise is open, gladly, weather permitting, year-round, allowing visitors to reach high elevations for hiking in summer and snowshoeing in winter, no less. The Sunrise area on the park's northeast side lives up to its name and is well worth a pre-dawn drive. Hiking trails at Mount Rainier National Park tour mountain meadows, massive waterfalls and groves of ancient forests, including the Around the Mountain Wonderland Trail. The country-spanning Pacific Crest Trail also passes through the park's boundaries. 4 auto campgrounds are among some of the best campgrounds in Rainier. 2 of the campgrounds, Cougar Rock and Ohana Pekosh, accept reservations and often book out fast. Visitors also find several other places to pitch a tent or park an RV in the national forests surrounding the park. Other attractions are within easy distance of the park, including Northwest Trek Wildlife Park in Eatonville and the Mount Rainier Scenic Railroad in the little town of Elba. Moving on to number 3, San Juan Islands. The San Juan Islands are north of Puget Sound off the northwest mainland. They are a collection of 174 named islands, with the 4 largest readily accessible by ferry. These 4 islands are San Juan Island, Orcas Island, Lopez Island and Shore Island. The county seat and most popular city, Friday Harbor, is on San Juan Island and is often a jumping-off point for bigger adventures. Each main island has a mix of galleries, seafood restaurants and parks, including San Juan Island National Historic Park. The historic park encompasses both a British and an American camp that date to the mid-1800s. Here, the park details life at the camp and the conflict known as the Pig War Dispute. Popular destinations within the San Juan Islands include Friday Harbor, East Sound and Moran State Park, where visitors will find one of the best campgrounds in Washington. Favorite things to do on the San Juan Islands include sea kayaking, whale watching and dining on local fare. Next up at 2, Seattle Center and the Space Needle. Of all the top attractions in Seattle, the Space Needle within the Seattle Center is perhaps the most iconic. It was built for the 1962 World's Fair and stands today as a centerpiece of the sprawling Seattle Center. Surrounding the spinning observation deck are more of the city's most iconic attractions, including some of Seattle's best museums. Alongside the Space Needle, the Seattle Center's 74-acre campus is home to the monorail, parklands, museums and restaurants. Among the indoor sightseeing options are the colourful glass artworks at Chioli Garden and Glass and the Frank O'Gary-designed Museum of Pop Culture. Other fun things to check out at the Seattle Center include a plethora of art installations, various theatre and stage accommodations, and multiple garden and fountain settings, and on any sunny day in Seattle, the campus offers an excellent place to stroll outside. Oh, here's my tip. Look into the official Seattle City Pass if you're considering visiting more than one big attraction. This discounted package includes a ride on the Space Needle and automatic entry into the Seattle Aquarium. It also includes 3 admissions into a selection of other nearby places to visit. And finally, at number 1, Olympic National Park. From ocean beaches to glaciered mountaintops, Olympic National Park overflows with incomparable scenery. The park covers most of the Olympic Peninsula, and roads only circle the wild terrain, never cutting through the park's mountainous heart. While auto touring is fun, the best way to experience Olympic is by hiking trail. Iconic coastal areas like Ruby and Rialto Beach define the rugged western edge of the park. This stunning slice of the Washington coastline is only a short drive from the oversized trees and abundant foliage in the Hoh rainforest. Other popular attractions at the park include the snowy peaks of Hurricane Ridge and the welcoming waters of Solduck Hot Springs. The hiking trails at Olympic National Park traverse many different landscapes, including a hall of mosses and the family-friendly Marymere Falls. The Hoh River Trail is an absolute must-do hike for all ages. This lush hiking trail explores the rainforest and river corridor with a flat path for 13 miles before ascending to the lateral moraine of Blue Glacier on Mount Olympus. For excellent places to spend the night, the campgrounds at Olympic National Park put visitors close to the awe-inspiring scenery presented by this wild western region of Washington. Camping is easier in Olympic NP than in other national parks in Washington, with more campgrounds also dispersed throughout the adjacent Olympic National Forest. And there you have the top 10 rated tourist attractions in Washington State. Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fantastic travel guides. See you next time.